Hey, folks. I'm Camille Armstrong, the performing arts Renaissance woman. For over 40 years, I've worked as a performer, educator, consultant, and coach. But most importantly, I'm a parent. From classrooms to stages to bedtime routines, I've spent my life nurturing creativity, character, and connection in the next generation. This series is for you, whether you're expecting, learning as you go, or parenting for the first time, or even third time around. I'm here to share the insights, tools, and real talk I've gathered over 4 decades of hands on experience. Welcome to Camille Who, the Child Whisperer. I'm so glad you're here. What message are we sending our children when we rush them into warming up to someone that they see as a stranger? They might be familiar to us, they might be our best friend, but to your child, if they are not presented to your child on a daily basis, they're considered a stranger. They're not familiar with that person enough to warm up to them right away. But what happens is, as parents, we don't understand that a child does not know a backstory. A child does not know a reason for something. They only know cause and effect, and that's really what's presented in front of them. This is why I've mentioned quite a few times the life movie or the daily movie that your child watches every day. Your child really does not start to kind of like reason things out or look for a backstory really until they're like 18 years old. Okay. So what is presented in front of them is what is reality. So when you have a friend that comes to your house or you bring your child to that friend's house, it may be your best friend, but if your child does not see them every single day or every other weekend or every weekend, like often enough to have experiences and relate those experiences, those memories, and all those like with their daily movie, they are a stranger. Even if it's your best friend, even if it's your best aunt, even if it's your, favorite somebody in your life that has been there your whole life. I know that parents get embarrassed because they're like, no, it's Jackie, it's Freddie. I mean, whoever, right? Like the thing is like they may be familiar with you, they may be your best friend, but your child is like, excuse me. I'm Camille Who, by the way, in case you just walked in. And I'm talking about labeling our children shy because we're embarrassed. Our children, as a matter of fact, we as humans, we have something in us that instinctually is cautious. It shouldn't be offensive. The thing is, instinctually, we are being cautious, which is exactly what you want your child to be. But what we do is we force our child to come out of their instinct, right? So we bring them to our Aunt Jackie, who our child does not see every day, but it may be your sister. It may be your best friend. It may be your aunt, your favorite aunt, or your favorite, it doesn't matter. The point is, if your child does not see them every day, especially if they're toddlers, if they don't see them every day, they're not going to know them, and they need to be cautious. Instinctually, they need to be cautious. When we as parents get embarrassed, and we usually do it because of embarrassment, instead of just not taking it personally and realizing like, let's look at it from the child's perspective here, okay? They don't see you every day. That's okay. Listen, I have grandchildren, and if my grandchild, I see them and I haven't seen them in a year or 6 months, and they have to warn, I'm not going to get offended, right? So that relative or that best friend or that favorite aunt, like they're not going to get offended. Trust me, parents. They're not going to get offended if your child does not warm up to them right away. It's okay. And I do not expect my grandchild who hasn't seen me, I mean, and we're talking about a 2-year-old grandchild or a 5-year-old grandchild, maybe a 5-year-old grandchild, but my 4-year-old or 3-year-old grandchild who does not see me every single day. They don't see me every week. Maybe they haven't seen me in 6 months. I'm not going to expect them to be like, hey, all right, let's play. No, I'm going to expect them to watch me for a while, feel my vibe out, establish within themselves that I am safe, and then I'm going to wait for them to come to me. And when they come to me, I will be open arms, right? I will not be offended. I will do what I normally do. I'll talk to the mom, I'll talk to the dad, and just do what I do. Let them observe me and let them see my vibe, let them feel my vibe and decide to warm up to me when they're ready to warm up to me. That is what we need to do. This is that very instinct that tells you stranger danger. And it doesn't mean that they're calling the relative, that they're calling the best friend like dangerous. It's just you want that instinct in them. Otherwise, you are now sending a mixed message, okay? And now you're not allowing them to strengthen that instinct that says, you don't just go talk to strangers. Even though it's nice to make friends and to be friendly with people on the street or people in the playground or whatever, but now what happens is you're sort of chipping away at that natural instinct for a child to be cautious. And a child should always be cautious. They should not be so willing and so ready to just run to a stranger. And what we are doing is we are clouding their judgment. We are taking away that practice of them being cautious. You see how passionate I am about this? I really, because it's a big pet peeve of mine, because parents, because of their embarrassment, they and their ignorance, because they don't understand and they're not looking at life through their child's eyes for a moment, and they don't realize they get embarrassed. So they're embarrassed. And so what they do is they label their child as shy or being shy. Isn't your child just being cautious right now? Are they really shy or are they being cautious? I like to call them cautious. I like to say that they are being cautious because this allows them to use that instinct, to feel that person out, to make sure it's safe, to feel that person's vibe, and then trust what they feel and what they sense about the person, and then warm up on their own time. But they should have that permission, that ability to warm up in their own time. You're only embarrassed because you want to please other people. And I know maybe you won't want to admit it, but this is Camille, who the child whisperer. We're having real talks here. Parents, look at the world through your child's eyes and understand that if this is something that is not familiar to them, it is okay for them to be cautious. This is a God-given instinct that all of us have. And if we are not allowed to do it, if we are now called shy because of it, what you're doing is now labeling them, and now you're now creating this shy person. When some children are meant for the stage. Some children are actually good speakers. Some people are actually really good, leaders, and they are now being labeled as shy. This now also deters them from what their natural purpose is in life. Now, parents, we don't realize how much when we just because of a little embarrassment, just because we're trying to please someone, but it doesn't work out, and so we get embarrassed by it. We tend to label our children, and we sort of like, we don't understand the damage that we're doing psychologically. Call me taking it seriously, call me taking it too seriously, but I've I've cared for children for over 40 years, and there's only so many patterns that you could see before you realize, okay, this is how humans are. I've spoken to countless parents who have really shared this same thing. I was afraid of whatever. I had to get over my fear of this, or I thought I could never take care of plants, or I was never good at this and that and that. All because of something that their parents said around them to hear it, and they basically just got labeled. So the parent said it over and over and over, right? In the daily movie, it became so natural or so repeated that it now became this fear, or now became this instilled this label that the child believed. And then the child became an adult with these fears that are not even theirs, with these preconceived uh, ideas of who they are. I've heard someone say a lie identity, and they're labeled with it. It's stuck with them, and they're sort of navigating life when really naturally they're not even supposed to be attached to that kind of label. They're not even supposed, this is just not who they are. So there's a friction. There's going to be a friction. And there's going to be, that point where you go like, oh my gosh, I've wasted all this time. This was not even mine. It was my mother's. This was not mine. It was my father's. My father used to say all this all the time. And then I believed it. And then my goodness, I could have done this, so long ago. This is what ends up happening. When we take away our child's ability to trust their instinct, to be cautious with new people, what we are doing now, this turns into adults who trust people too quickly. Adults who allow the wrong people to get too close. Adults who ignore red flags. Adults becoming too vulnerable, too fast, and trusting people before they have been proven worthy. Does that sound familiar? How many bad relationships have we gotten into because of those very same reasons? This is what it stems from. So I'm telling you this now so you can be aware of it and hopefully not make the same mistake. Caution is a gift. Caution is wisdom. That's what you want. You want that feeling of, okay, stranger danger. And it may not necessarily mean that it's danger. I know that's just what we've labeled it, but you want them to go, okay, I don't know this person. I got to feel them out. That is wisdom, right? We take away that, we're taking away wisdom from our child. We don't realize the damage that we're doing, but we do it. Come on now, people. This is the reason why I have this channel, right? So I can give you some insight so that you can make choices with your child that are informed as opposed to emotional reactions, because a lot of times, most times as parents, we're coming from a whole core belief system we have no idea is even there yet or embedded, and our child comes and we are coming from a default state. It doesn't matter how many books you've read, if you do not address your mindset, where it came from, what your influences were, and what your core belief system was or is, you're going to come from a default setting, and most of your choices, no matter how many dreams and fantasies you have about raising your child, most of your choices are going to come from emotional reactions. This is what you're doing. Your child is uncomfortable, and they're being forced to ignore that feeling of uncomfortableness or discomfort. They're also they're thinking, okay, them being cautious, like that instinct is embarrassing to your parent, to my parent. This is what they're experiencing, okay, and that becomes part of their belief system, and it does damage to the choices that they make as adults. Another thing is they should trust people, even though their instinct tells them not to. Or they should trust people they've never seen before just because an adult tells them so. Doesn't that seem crazy? Well, that's what we're forcing our children to think. That's all they believe. That's all they only see what's presented in front of them. How we behave, how we react to certain things, and how we make them behave as a result of our own emotional, what we're going through emotionally. So, some options here are you can say, look, they're just being cautious. Just give them a few minutes. Hi, baby. This is Jackie, Mama's friend. They're just being cautious. Give them a few minutes. Usually, like 5 minutes later. It really doesn't take that long for a child to feel you out and know your vibe. If they are they're not comfortable with you, let them not be comfortable. Let them go play. Let them go do something else. Give them 10 minutes. Like it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's not a complete insult on a person's person. And what you're doing is you're validating your child's instinct. It gives them the ability and the allowance, the permission to trust themselves. And now they're becoming more independent. They also become stronger in trusting their own instincts. Like how many of us as adults that don't even trust our own instincts? Why? Because it was embedded in us. Certain emotions we weren't allowed to feel, or certain ways we weren't allowed to be cautious. We had to go do that because an adult said so. Step one, replace the label. Instead of saying, oh, she's just being shy or she's just shy, say, they're just being cautious, right? Because even when you say that to yourself, you're like, oh yeah, I want my child to be cautious. Even your friend, right? Or your best friend or your relative or whoever that person is that you're introducing your child to, it makes sense to that person. They're like, oh, yeah, sure, right? Right? Be cautious. Go ahead. That's what you want. You want that instinct. So to say that is very fair to everyone involved, and it's very true. Step two, give them time, give them space. Really, 9 times out of 10, they warm up. Maybe it takes 5 minutes, maybe it takes 10 minutes, but it's your best friend. It's your best aunt. It's your best, whatever. You can spend time just talking, right? And then your child will feel them out. Then because your child gets to observe and watch their vibe. Step 3, model a respect for boundaries. I remember when my children were young and oh my gosh, especially my daughter. Oh my goodness, my poor baby. She's just like melodramatic, okay? But if I brought her tiny little self to new friends, they'd be like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. This is another thing that adults do, and they don't realize that they're overwhelming the child, but they're like, ah. My daughter would scream to holy heck. She had pipes, okay? This girl was like, ah, and she would not calm down for like a good 10 minutes. And people would be like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, it's you bombarded her. I know she's cute, but you bombarded her and you overwhelmed her. She needs time and space. And that just, but she was able to then trust me, have respect for me, because I knew what she needed and I respected her needs and I respected her time and her space and I respected what her needs. So there was this trust that was built between me and my daughter, and I was like, I don't care what any of you think. I'm going to see you tomorrow. It's whatever. My child's important. My child's needs right now and in this moment is important. And that's it. That is it for today's video. Ha ha ha. You can find me at camillewho.com/better-parent-better-future. Better Parent, Better Future. There are resources on that site. That's part of my passion, helping you make informed choices as a parent. If you want to join the community, if you want to work with me one-on-one, because I do coaching, sometimes we need someone to hold our hand on this process of being a parent or becoming the first time parent or just wanting to do it better the second time or third time even, or someone to just talk or someone to just talk with and share with and feel empowered. Or I have an online course as well that will help you get into the right mindset to approach parenting, not just read your books on your child's first year, but really do the work on where am I coming from as a parent. That's all there. I'm Camille Who, and I am out of here. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Camille Who, the Child's Whisperer. A heartfelt thank you to the generous supporters of the Books and Beyond campaign. This series wouldn't be possible without you. If you're a new or expecting parent, I created Better Parent, Better Future just for you. I empower first-time parents to embrace a positive mindset and navigate those early parenting years with confidence and joy. Click the link in the description to learn more or to find out how we can work together. Until next time, keep showing up, keep growing, and keep leading with love.